Had a very special interview this week for the new season 2 of the Israel Take 3 podcast, which is coming out soon. And the interview was with Tzvika and Ruti Gringlick. Their son Shauli was a commander in the Nachal Brigade, and he was killed in Gaza towards the beginning of the war. And I asked them about this video that was going around. It was a video of their whole family sitting together. One of the kids was playing the piano, and Shauli came over and sat with his mom in her arms, and she was holding on to him, and they were singing. This is when he was on leave from reserve duty, just a few weeks before he was killed in Gaza. And I asked her about that video, and she said, you know, all children, you love all your children so much, but some children are easier to love than other children. And she said that Shauli was so easy to love because he was so wonderful to them. He was so respectful, and he fulfilled the mitzvah, the commandment of honor your father and your mother in the most beautiful way. And I was so touched by that. And I realized that, you know, this week's Parsha actually in the Ten Commandments talks about this mitzvah of honoring your parents. And interestingly enough, and we've spoken about this many times before, but if you look at the Ten Commandments, they show up on 2 separate tablets. And it's generally understood that the first 5 commandments are categorized as the man to God mitzvahs, commandments that have to do with my relationship with the infinite, with the Almighty. And then the second 5 on the second one of the tablets has to do with man to human beings, other human beings, the way we interact, the laws that regulate our interpersonal relationships. So if one were to take a guess where the commandment of honor your mother and your father would fall out, certainly it would be logical to think that that would be on the second tablet, because me and my parents, it's a human relationship, so that should be regulated by the laws, the man-to-man laws, not the man-to-God laws. And yet, when we look at the 10 Commandments, we see that the first tablet contains that 5th commandment of honor your mother and your father. And the commentaries discuss why, and many different theories have been put forth. But I'd like to share with you the beautiful insight from Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, who writes that the first commandment is all about our relationship with God. But how do we acquire that relationship with God? When we're young, when we're children, where does that knowledge come from? Where does that information come from? Who teaches us about God giving the Torah to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai? Who teaches us about the authenticity of the Torah and the veracity and the validity and the importance of the commandments? Who teaches all us that when we're children? Our parents. We get this from our parents. It's called Misorah. It's called tradition. It's passed on orally. My parents taught me, their parents taught them, and it goes back generations all the way back to Mount Sinai. Now, why should I listen to my parents? Why should I respect them? Why should I understand what they're saying and take it to heart? And that's why the mitzvah, the commandment to honor my parents, is also on the tablet between man to God, because it's the importance of honoring my parents is to make sure that the relationship with them is so strong and so intact and so filled with respect that I look up to them. I revere them. I want to hear what they have to say, and I want to learn from them and accept from them the tradition of our people so that I can internalize that and then pass it down to my children. So the mitzvah of honoring your parents is so important, not because it's a man-to-man mitzvah and it's the right thing to do because they're your parents. That's true. But the reason why it's so important is because without our parents and without a strong foundation and a connection and a feeling that we can rely on them, that we can trust them, that we can look up to them, then the whole system collapses, because where else are we going to learn the fundamental principles of what it means to be a human being and what it means to be a Jew in this world? So that's such a beautiful insight from Rabbi Hirsch, and I was thinking about Ruti and Tzvi Gringlick and their son Shauli, and the beautiful relationship that they had. When you see that video, you understand what I'm talking about. And I can post that video after this video. I'll post it there so you can see it. And you see the love and the respect that they had for each other, and the tradition that is passed down through their family, and the commitment and the example that they are for the Jewish people of what it means to be a family committed to Jewish values and to Torah and to principles of Torah in the land of Israel. And they lost their son, but their music and their inspiration and what they brought to the world and share with the world continues to inspire us all. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom from Yerushalaim.